seeing how close I put this video to the Winter 2020 anime review really does show how much I just don't upload. Anyway, what's up? Today we're going to review some of the anime I watched this season in a countdown review type thing. It's essentially what I did last time. So strap in, because we actually don't have a lot to go over here. I'll be honest, there's only 5 anime on this list. Mostly because the other anime I was going to watch got pushed back, but you know what? Let's just jump into the countdown anyway. Starting off the countdown at number 5 is a show that I honestly have no idea why I watched. Wave Listen to Me. The story of Minare as she travels through a bad breakup and ends up drunk and complaining to a radio director. After hearing herself on the radio, she rushes to clear up everything live on the air. Minare has raw talent as she begins to work on her late-night show on the radio, while also trying to balance her other job and just, try to get by. It sounds interesting, right? Well, that's what I thought. I was never interested in the radio. I never liked listening to what they have to say because it's all just garbage about what celebrity is doing what and trash no one cares about. But I digress. Wave Listen to Me takes the viewer behind the scenes of what it's like to work at a radio station. It executes that aspect flawlessly. But Wave Listen to Me's downfall is its boring and forgettable characters and story that falls completely flat. I am talking cutting board flat. With the exception of Minare, every other character is 100% forgettable. I must give credit where it's due. Minare's voice actor is an absolute gem. Her quick speech along with her not giving a crap attitude is something to marvel at and admire. Wave Listen to Me had trouble getting its own footing. At one point it felt like it was interesting, and then it went right back to just being dialogue heavy. I'm not one to shy away from dialogue heavy anime. I have greatly enjoyed the Monogatari series, and the story progress in that show can be considered glacial at best. However, Wave Listen to Me succeeds in making realistic anime that highlights the struggles of real life and trying to get by. This show felt like an actual story about a famous radio DJ in Japan. Even if it isn't an interesting story, it completes that mission. The opening was very reminiscent, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, of Anohana. It had the same kind of beat and tone and, it just really brought back memories of that great anime. I'm still crying. The ending was quite inspiring, and I thought it was good. In the end, Wave Listen to Me gets a 6 out of 10. The show takes forever to get to the point, but when it gets there, it just doesn't feel all that worth it. I don't think I'd watch a season 2 if it got one. Moving on to number 4 is a show I started watching on a whim. A show called Sing Yesterday for Me. A show about Riko Uzumi, who has all but given up on having a prosperous life. He works part-time at a convenience store and meets a very energetic girl named Haru who wants to be closer to him. Soon, Riko hears about his old college crush, Shinako, moving back into town and sees if he can try and further that relationship. However, Shinako is coming to grips with the painful memories of her past. At the same time, Riko finds that Haru is more like him than he first thought. The twists and turns lead the trio to let go of yesterday and look forward to tomorrow. If I'm being truly honest with you, this show could have been a number 1 contender due to the amazing ending. However, I have to look at things from an overall perspective, so, from an overall perspective, it can be said that the show is magnificent, but has flaws that drag it down more than it should. From the beginning, this show captures your eyes with its incredible art. It has a very nostalgic feel about it, which would make sense for a show about trying to let go of yesterday and look forward to tomorrow. I was immediately drawn to Haru's character. She has such a good attitude and for the most part cares about everyone else's happiness and well-being before her own. I think she's quite cute, and I cheered for her the whole show. Yes, the girl with the crow was my number 1. Bite me. Shinako, on the other hand, is a sponge cake with no flavor. I'm sorry, okay, but if you like Shinako, you have horrible taste in waifus. She, out of every other character, needed to move on the most, and yet she remained her boring, basic self. I get it, okay? She lost her love. But if the rest of the cast is moving on, I think you should at least make an effort to do the same. Alright, enough spitting on Shinako. Let's move on to another useless character, Ro. His character is absolutely useless and he only serves as a scapegoat for Shinako. Not once did I care for his character, nor did I want him in the show anymore. No one cared about him and he adds nothing to the story. I mean, for Christ's sake, the random side characters who were in one episode were more interesting. You remember Chika? The piano player? Oh my god, we could have had a whole spin-off with her character, but no, we're sitting here listening to Ro throw a tantrum because the world doesn't go his way. Anyway, back to the show. The art is beautiful and most of the characters add depth to the story, but the show's downfall is its slow pacing and infinite loop of bullcrap that all the characters go in. The story progresses slowly, and as I've said before, I don't mind that, but at least make it interesting to watch. The major issue with this story is that it doesn't really go anywhere until the last few episodes. From the beginning to about episode 7 is all character development, and then BAM! You get hit with the iron bat of destiny. I will not spoil the ending of this show because it is just, it's freaking fantastic, but for those of you who have seen it, you will know that I'm just, quite happy with my shipment and handling. In all seriousness, it's just a really good show. Surprisingly, there wasn't even an intro, but there were 3 outros, all of which were absolute bangers and allow you to reflect on the story. Seeing Yesterday for me gets a solid 8 out of 10, completely worth the watch, even though the story lags a lot and about half of the cast are characters I would like to leave in Yesterday. It's a freaking great show though. I would 100% watch a second season. Coming in at number 3 is a show I enjoyed way too much, Otome Game. Oh my god, I love this show. This show takes a different turn on the isekai genre. A girl is born into a new world in a game called Fortune Lover, a game she used to play. But this joy is short-lived as it is revealed that the character she is reborn as is Katarina Claus, the game's main villainess, who is destined to have a doomed ending. Katarina is smart and uses her extensive knowledge of the game to find a way to avoid her doom flags. Even so, Katarina will drastically change the ballgame as she attempts to not just change everyone's life around her, but the fate of the villain she was born as well. It should be no surprise to anyone that I love the isekai genre. When I first came across this show, I thought it would just be another cut and paste isekai, but I was wrong. I was way wrong. The perfect recipe for making an isekai interesting is making it refreshing to the audience. Otome Game is a tall glass of water that quenches that desire for refreshment. From the start, the show is just beautiful to look at. It is basic, but has a slice of life feeling to it that you don't get from a lot of other isekai anime. I must say, with as large a cast as this show had, I didn't hate a single character. Each one of them was given excellent development that advanced the story. Each one had something to add to the overall plot. Even Serious Dick. That name still makes me laugh. On the topic of characters, by the way, Katarina is an absolute godsend. She's a diverse character who genuinely wants to change the outcome of the character she has become. What strikes me as odd is she can't seem to connect the dots after the story starts to deviate. Katarina is always on guard, but that's just how she is. And avoiding her doom flags is her main objective, so she can't relax with her sweets until she avoids her doom. I also like how she's a hungry girl. Okay, unpopular opinion, hungry girls are the best. Poor thing just kept getting the runs though. Even if she is a dense fruitcake, I absolutely fell in love with her character. The show takes the audience through every twist and turn you could imagine. It'll have you busting a gut, laughing, and crying yourself to depression all in one episode. Still trying to recover from that. Otome Game has successfully brought newfound joy to the isekai genre that I can't help but be thankful for. I genuinely want everyone to find their happy ending and wish Katarina would open her eyes just a bit more to the feelings of everyone else. The music was absolutely fantastic. The intro was this happy theme that I would bounce around to. The ending, oh my god, it just hits you with this absolute shock. It was just, it's way more intense than it needs to be, but I absolutely loved it. It tries to be a mismatched puzzle piece in the show, but it just fits so well at the end. I absolutely adored this show and everything about it. Otome Game receives a 9 out of 10. Fantastic show, definitely check it out for yourself. Oh yeah, and did I mention it got a season 2 already announced? I can't wait to continue the story with this idiot. Love you, Katarina. Number 2 battled heavily for first place, but came up just a bit short. It is none other than Princess Connect Redive. So, at first I had this show at number 3, but the last episode really pushed it up to number 2. The scene is set in Austria. Yuki falls from the sky with no recollection about who he is or where he came from. An elf by the name of Kokoro guides him to this new world. Being new to the world, Yuki and Kokoro need money. Therefore, they decide to start quests. There they meet a hungry but extremely powerful Pecorine. Then they meet Carol, a magic cat. The team ventures out as a new guild, meet new people, and possibly discover the mysteries behind Yuki's magic. This show, honestly, has it all. A hungry, beautiful princess with a rack you could store books on, an adorable elf who has the voice of a goddess. Oh, forgot to mention this. If you're wondering why her voice sounds a bit familiar, it's because she's voiced by Ito Miku. You may know her as this, less known character, oh god, what's her name? Miku Nakano from this, very unknown anime called The Quintessential Quintuplets. You probably heard of it. I think I did a couple videos on it. So I was already on board with the show from the start. Then came along this season's waifu, Carol, the cat girl who stole the show. Carol is fantastic. I love her design, her attitude, she's hilarious, and she's just absolutely beautiful. She's like if Nekopara got isekai'd. I just love it. Plus, she's just constantly fighting this inner struggle between good and evil that makes you really cheer for her. The story as a whole is interesting. I was not expecting something with this depth. You think, oh, it's just going to be another isekai show about fun, giggleless stuff. This show gets dark and takes itself very seriously, which I can always appreciate. So it has the amazing animation, the story, the characters, an all-star cast, and leaves you hungry for more. But why? Why is this show so intriguing? What makes it feel so at home yet so new? Let me answer that for you. There's a series that I adore. Like, one of my favorite of all time. It's called Konosuba. What Princess Connect is essentially Konosuba with a darker tone. See, Konosuba is a parody. It doesn't really have much story to follow, but it is entertaining as all get out. And I will keep coming back for it every time. Seriously, I could watch like a million seasons of that show, but moving on. I was struggling to find out why this series was so good, and then there it was. It finally clicked. It's literally Konosuba. I mean, for God's sake, Kazuma and Aqua are both... Sora Amamiya, who plays Aqua, is in this show as well. I swear to God, look it up. Both voices are in Princess Connect. This show genuinely made me laugh, and I look forward to it every week and was without a doubt an absolute star this season. Princess Connect receives a 9 out of 10. With a dark and fun tone perfectly mixed together, it is the perfect show for anyone who wants to be entertained and wants a good story. It is fantastic, and I wish there was more of it so that I could see more Carol and the other idiots trying to make sense of the Gourmet Guild. I pray for a season 2. I really do. Now let's get to the #1 anime I watched this season. My favorite anime this season was Kaguya-sama, Love is War 2. There was no part of me that I could not that could not physically make this show #1. I absolutely adored season 1 and looked forward to season 2 with the highest anticipation. The story continues from when season 1 left off and followed the manga to a T. Kaguya-sama Love is War is a non-stop party that I could literally watch for years to come. It has to be said that the main characters are occasionally outshined by the supporting cast. I know the whole show is based around Shirogane and Shinomiya and their constant battle of stupidity, but to be honest, that seemed to be phased out this season. This season was more about character development, background, and adding Miko, who, I don't know if you know, is voiced by the same person who voiced Krim. You remember our favorite interspecies reviewer, right? The best part about this series is its over-exaggeration of everything. I know that for the most part, anime exaggerates just about every aspect of life, but Love is War takes it to a whole other level. Best of all, it makes the characters more dynamic and funner to watch. Yes, the over-exaggeration can be a bit stupid at times, but that's just how this show flows. It's all about innuendos and making people laugh. I want to point this out, just because it's honestly important to me. This scene, where Chika and Shirogane are discussing to the matters of the heart, it is an entire reference to the Monogatari series. As I have said, I love the Monogatari series and instantly caught on to this. I was dazzled by how exactly the scenes matched up, and all I could do was sit there in utter silence and just be amazed. Such a tip of the hat to such a great series. So I want to talk about something very important. It's very serious. It's something I believe we can't avoid any longer. I am in love with Hayasaka. I mean, just how can you not, though? As soon as she told me, hey, my mind went blank, and all I wanted was more of her. Nothing was more important than having more screen time of the blonde goddess. Probably one of my most memorable moments this season was the episode where Shinomiya and Shirogane were watching the stars. I about cried laughing from Shinomiya's reactions. I had to rewind it like consistently. I was just laughing so hard rewatching that one scene. And, you know, more to that point, that's something else I want to talk about. The voice acting in this show just cannot be touched. It's on a whole other level. Bar none, I've never heard such excellent execution of lines in quite some time. All around brilliant casting. Now, we cannot conclude this review without mentioning Ishigami's art. What an absolute bro. So poor Ishigami is shunned for something he didn't do and is treated like the worst human while some scumbag just gets away with his deeds. Ishigami's arc teaches us a great lesson that even under the best intentions, no good deed goes unpunished. However, we learn from Ishigami that we need to let go of the past and stop caring what those that don't matter think. Rather, we should look forward to the future and think about those we have in our lives now. It kinda ties back to Sing Yesterday to me in a weird way. The joy that Ishigami now has is unmatched, and he can now see his future instead of focusing on what happened in the past. For that, he's quite possibly my new favorite character. He went through so much for people that mean absolutely nothing to him, and in the end, got the last laugh. When all said and done, Kaguya-sama Love is War 2 has an intro and outro that live up to its predecessors and continues to be an absolute powerhouse in the romantic comedy series. Kaguya-sama Love is War 2 receives a 9 out of 10, an absolutely spectacular series that I genuinely can't wait to continue. Even though I am caught up on the manga, I just can't wait to see them adapt it to an anime for the third time. Honestly, what a great series. Oh, and if you don't like it, well... And that's gonna do it for the Spring Anime Countdown review. Thank y'all so much for watching. Looking forward to the next season because we have way more shows to watch coming soon. So I'll be watching those. I did finish my second playthrough of Persona 5 Royal, so I should be making a final review very soon, and it'll be up whenever it gets up. How about that? Again, thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know what anime you love the most this season and if you agree with my ranking. Alright, I'm out. Peace. See ya.
Yes, my master. Yes, my master. この私、こうすると知識を引き換え